Greetings, fellow scholars. I had a homework question here for Chapter 14, Module 4, 14.3, number 3. So let's go ahead and have a look at that. The first thing I do when I get to a complicated question like this one is I go to Question Help and click on View an Example. And then once I get to my example, I just keep clicking continue until I have my full question in front of me, because I do like to be able to scroll through fluently without, pressing continue while I'm trying to read. So for this particular question, we're asked about grouping an amount of people for a volleyball team. And I need to make the decision whether I'm going to use the permutation formula or the combination formula. And I will recall that when I'm using the permutation formula, that means order matters, in which case ABC would not be equivalent to ACB, and that would not be equivalent to CAB, because even though they're the same three elements, they're rearranged differently, and for a permutation, order matters, so these subsets or these sets are not equal. And also recall that what the formulas stand for. The N always stands for the total number of elements that we're dealing with, and R is representative of the number of elements we want to belong to our subsets. Now, for this particular problem, I'm going to use combinations because I'm choosing volleyball teams. And in volleyball teams, everybody plays every position. So it doesn't matter what the order is. However I choose the teams, everybody's going to play the same and will rotate. So order does not matter, in which case I have that ABC is equal to ACB, which is equal to CAB, because no matter how these elements are arranged, it's the same set for each one of these. All right, also I wanted to show you that, remind you that factorial is simply the digit that's listed, the product of that digit and every integer that came before it. So the 6 factorial is 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And if you want to use your factorial tool in Excel, you simply type in an equal sign. FAC is all you need to type. Double click where it says fact there, and then type in 6 and press enter, and the answer to 6 factorial will show up there. All right, let's go ahead and go back to our example and see what we have here. I have done this initial Excel sheet like I always do by using the example so that I can make sure that I've come up with the correct answers. And then you see where I've highlighted these in this darker blue color. If you don't see color, you can see that it's a little bit darker than the others on the same row. That's because those are the only cells I'm going to need to change to get an answer to any of these questions, which keeps it pretty simple. So let's go ahead and start looking at this. The first part of the question is asking how many ways can a group of 6, including 2 boys and 4 girls, be formed into 2 3-person volleyball teams with no restrictions. We love it when there are no restrictions because we simply plug the numbers into the formula. We have 6 total people. Let me get this a little smaller so I can use it. We have 6 total people, and we want to put them in subsets of 3. So I simply plug 6 into my formula wherever there's an N, and I plug 3 wherever there's an R. So here you can see that I have used cell referencing, and I simply have done the formula. Notice these black parentheses in my numerator. It's very important to always put parentheses around your numerator, and then to also give your denominator its own set of parentheses, which means you may end up with multiple layers of parentheses. So make sure you can keep all of those organized. Okay, also another thing that you might want to notice is that I listed my formula below here. And I just put a little tiny um, a little tiny comma. I know that's not a comma, but this little thing up here, I put that there, and that will keep Excel from actually calculating the formula so that you can show what the formula looks like. All right, and then once I calculated that I have 20 total groups, I then have to divide that number in half because it says two three-person volleyball teams. So I can only have 10 different, sets of two volleyball teams. All right, so since I was dealing with such small numbers here, I went ahead and showed you what it looks like to actually take six people, where I have two boys and four girls. You can see here, hopefully you can notice my girls are green, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 and 6 are the boys, and they are in purple. So if you look at all of this, this is just every single possible way that I can arrange six different people into groups of three, and you can see that did come out to be 20 different ways. But and that's the answer that we have right here. But then remember that we need two sets of those for, we have to have two different teams to play the game. So that's why I only have 10 sets of two teams. All right, now part two, or part Bravo, is a little bit more complicated, but it's not terrible because we have Excel. Excel makes everything so fantastic. So now the question is, how many ways can a group of six, including two boys and four girls, be formed into two three-person volleyball teams so that each team has one of the boys? Well, this time, let's go ahead and have a look at my visual aid first. And I encourage you guys, you'll have to use a good visual aid. So if you use small numbers to start with, you can create these circles to show your organizations, the way that you organize your elements. If you're dealing with marbles or people or whatever flags, I think there's a flag problem on there. They're all the same as this problem. So once you set this Excel sheet up, it can really help you do all of your homework. All right, so for part B, for part Bravo, I have to have a boy on every team. So that made it kind of easy. I knew that a boy, so I put, here are all the ways I can make a team with boy number 5. Here are all the ways I can make a team with the boy that's labeled number 6. So in this case, what I did is I took in Excel my total number of boys and how many boys can be in each team. Well, this is the number of boys on each team. In this case, only one, because it said that there has to be one boy. What did it say? So that each team has one of the boys. All right, so I have two boys with one boy on each team, and there are only two ways to do that, which is what you see when you look at this over here. You can see that I have all the ways that I can have boy 5 on a team and all the ways I can have boy 6. So those are only two different ways. But then I have to figure out how many ways can I arrange two girls. Well, I have 4 total girls and I can have 2 girls on each team. So what I did with this cell is I did, you can see for Echo 5 right here, the total number of people on a team, and then I subtracted the total number of boys that are going to be on a team. And that left me with the fact that I need 2 girls for each team. And you'll want to use your cell referencing, otherwise you're going to be trying to change all these numbers when you do other problems. It makes it much simpler. You'll see when I plug the other numbers in here and show you in a minute. All right, so now I know that I have 2 ways to arrange my boys, and I have 6 ways to arrange my girls. So then I simply multiply those together. The number of ways boys can be arranged times the number of the number of ways girls can be arranged, and then I come up with 12. And then I have to remember that every game needs 2 teams. So I have only 6 sets of 2 teams because remember back in the problem it used the word two, which I've highlighted in red to point out to you guys. All right, and again, here you see that I did have 12 arrangements. All right, let's move on to part Charlie. Part C says, how many ways can a group of 6, including 2 boys and 4 girls, be formed into 2 3-person volleyball teams so that all of the boys are on the same team? Well, this one actually turned out to be easy, or at least have a small number. It was easy when it came to making my dots over here, I can tell you that. So in this case, I want to know how many ways can I arrange my girls. I don't really need to worry about the boys because both boys have to be on the same team. So the only thing I need to arrange here are the girls. So I have 4 girls and I need 1 girl for each team because remember, I only have 3 teams. So I used cell referencing again here. You can see that I took the total number of people needed for the team and I subtracted the total number of boys. Since all the boys had to be on 1 team, now I know that there's only 1 girl needed for each of these teams. Plugged the numbers into my formula by using cell referencing, keeping it super simple. And then I figured the total number of remaining girls, because now here, 1 girl is already taken to be on a team with these 2 boys. So I have the total number of girls, which you could find here in cell golf 9. And then I subtracted the number of girls that were needed to fill in whatever spaces the boys didn't take up. And in this case, I ended up with 3. So now I have any of these 4 teams that we just created, 4 teams having 2 boys on each team and just 1 girl. And then for my other team, I just have to have 3 girls because there can't be any boys on it. And there are only 3 girls left. And there is only 1 way to do that. So there's only 1 way to choose 3 girls for a 3-person team. So now I know I only have 4 different ways because see, whichever one of these teams with the 2 boys on it is chosen, the other team will have the leftover 3 girls. So that's why the answer for this one is going to be 4, and I don't have to worry about dividing it in half, which you can see I've used this red thing to show you that you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that piece for that problem. All right, so let's have a look now at using this Excel spreadsheet for some big, huge numbers, which is exactly what our question has given us. It has really racked us up on numbers. I've already gone ahead and put all these in just to save a little bit of time on the video, but I'm going to plug the numbers in live in front of you so that you can see what happens. So let's get this all set up so that you guys can see it very nicely. All right, in this case, remember what I said, where I have these dark blue, that's where I am just, those are the only cells I need to change anything in. For this particular problem, I have 22 players, or 22 people altogether. Each team needs 11 players. And then I have a total number of boys for this problem. I think it was 6. No, 4. 4 boys and 18 girls. All right, and you guys can look at my numbers here. I'll just change them each to yellow so that you can clearly see them, and everything just changed. So even though my numbers are, 87,000 and 15,000, I didn't have to do anything. Whoops. You guys know that one was wrong because remember on this one we use this. We don't need to split this one in half. All right, so here I had 352,716, 87,000 plus, 31,000 plus. So those numbers were real easy to get. I just changed those 4 cells and plugged these numbers in. Well, I hope this video helped, and let me know if you have any more questions. Keep being amazing. You rock.